Ruth McCracken and Trisetta Washington, two top-notch career and business strategists, are here to help you defy standards and break boundaries. Join them as they share powerful insights that have already impacted thousands of people and will have a major impact on your career, life balance, and business.
Great day, great day. Hello, hello. Hey, Trisetta, welcome. How are you, girl?
I'm doing fantastic. It's so good to see you.
Indeed, it's so always a pleasure to see you. We were just in the back of the scenes, and I just love the fact that we were talking about how it's the first Friday, it's the month that started, and we want to definitely be so intentional and so ever grateful that we made it this far. And whatever that we may think that is not checked off yet on our list as far as goals and how we like to wrap up the year, because we're almost wrapping it up. And noted to be true that it's all right if all the things on our list has yet to be checked off. So let's go ahead and invite our audience in. If you all are chiming in for the first time, go ahead and grab your favorite beverages. Go ahead. Don't be aware that we're going to be embarking you all on breaking boundaries. Next episode, listen, it's going to be super and powerful. The fact that it's, like I said, it's the first Friday of the month. And we just want you to be able to walk away just fully prepared and fully transformed on what we're going to be releasing to you all today. And it's going to be our breaking boundaries topic, as you all are getting comfortable and sharing and hitting the subscribe and getting more familiar with adding more people to the party, because it's never fun if you come by yourself. Let's go ahead and click like and share, because we definitely want to make this party be relevant and true. We're going to be talking about, you all ready? Yes. Confident leadership, empowering teams to success. Because you and I know, if you ever been in a team environment where you want to be able to be under a blanket of remarkable leaders that are shifting you in the right direction or helping you create a momentum and a drive of wanting to wake up and go to work, and most importantly, be able to help empower you so that you can then be able to empower maybe your coworkers, your peers, or those that are maybe different departments or fields that you are in. So we're going to talk about what different ways. But outside of that, did you have anything else to share, Trisetta? Because I think we're getting ready to start. We can go ahead and jump on in and break bread with whatever platforms that you may be listening into, or maybe watching it live on our YouTube and all variety of platforms as we're streaming live today. What do you think we should? Did I miss anything? Let me know.
Well, of course, we're still working on growing our LinkedIn page for those of you who are watching us
Yeah.
over here on LinkedIn. Definitely go and follow our page. We're trying to get to 150 subscribers or followers over there so that we can start live streaming directly to the page and rather than our personal pages. And then also, in order for you to stay up to date, because I know that your feed over here on LinkedIn can be sometimes challenging to get back to find the videos that you're looking for. So definitely head over to our YouTube channel, the Breaking Boundaries podcast, and subscribe over there. Hit the bell, that little bell notification button, so that you can be notified when a new video is available. It makes it a lot easier for you to scroll through the videos and specifically search topics that we've covered over the last year.
I love it. I love it. And first off, thanks for those who are already subscribed.
Yes.
It matters to us that you are committed with our journey. Many of you all may have been with us since we started, and we've already hit our 1-year anniversary last month. And thank you all for just sticking through and even sharing and liking, because it matters to us that you find us to be valuable and beneficial. And we love to join you all in the comments as we embark to you today on building confidence as a leader. Let's talk about that. Building a confidence as a leader and a role model. Because oftentimes then if we're wanting to be honest, we're still in a very sensitive time where a lot of things may kind of move you away from thinking what would be more valuable, whereas all this in the economic in different parts of the country, and Middle East are still going through what they're going through. And even in our backyard alone, where economically things are still inflating, cost is going high, cost of living in many demographic and metropolitan areas. But when you're coming in with it as a leader and you're wanting to put all those to the side and come in to show up in confidence, and then most importantly, not superficial, right? Let us know in the
Mm.
comments that you want to be genuine. You want to build on a foundation of qualities, and what ways can you have the attributes? And we want to talk through on those. Here are some 5 that you can help contribute to, that's going to help elevate your confidence as a leader, and most importantly, within you as a professional successor that you want to continue to achieve in this journey of success. Number 1, write it down if you want to, or you can always replay this. Self-assuredness. Let me know in the comments that confident, if you know this to be true, that confident leaders, they have a self-assured and have a belief in their abilities. It's like a trait. It's like a certain character that they instill in them. And basically, you want to be able to trust your decision on what you see to be true. And then you also want to execute it. You want to help inspire. And not only you want to help inspire, you want to inspire with confidence to your team. So it becomes contagious.
Yeah.
Right? You want to be able to be a light and a beacon of light, if you will, to others, so that I know when I'm in a team environment, and it's always something about when someone come in, they just come with all this exuded of energy. And it was like, well, it then kind of brings something out of you. Like, well, you might have had a down day, but the fact that they came in with so much vibrance, so momentum, and they say, hey, listen, you all, especially if you're maybe in HR. And in HR, we always at the year end, where I used to run payroll, and listen, payroll is definitely a sensitive area, but you want to go in there. And I love the fact that we would do year end potlucks, and just bringing in the momentum and drive, and our leaders would find ways so we can build with one another. And let us know that you want to bring in with number 2, which is resilience. What ways you can definitely be able to bounce back, especially if you may had to go through a transition. Maybe you were part of a layoff, and now you're having to bring in this leadership mentality of resilience, because now you know how to overcome it. Kind of build some character in you. Yes. And now you want to be able to continue the level of confidence and facing adversity, and being able to, most importantly, be able to help be a great composure and adaptability in a newer environment, where you don't bring in what the residue was from what happened, from having that life event happen, and then now you're in a newer environment. How do you continue to inspire and still maintaining and showing up to your team no matter what, and not having to think in the back of your head of any kind of resentful or shame or regret? And what else can we share when it comes to, you want to be able to instill that confidence as a leader, and you want to show it up as authentic as you want, as authentic as you can be, because it matters to you that your team sees that I'm looking forward to go to work. It may not be all peaches and gravy, but the fact that I'm surrounded by other leaders who are inspiring us to get up and show up. What else can also be a way of showing this type of role models of tendency to your team members?
Definitely effective communication, right? So it's really
that.
essential for you to have strong communication skills if you're going to be a confident leader. Because if you don't feel like you can clearly articulate your thoughts, if you don't feel like you can actively listen to your employees to be able to build that trust and create a transparent environment, then you're not going to be able to show up confidently in your leadership skills. Another one is empathy, because empathy really allows you to connect, right? It allows you to connect with your team members on that personal level, not just the professional level, because we don't turn off who we are as a person when we step into an office, whether that is a virtual office or an actual office, right?
Right.
So it's important for you to figure out how to foster that sense of belonging and care to your team, while also reinforcing their confidence in you as a leader. And I know, like for me, um, early on, and I know a lot of you all who follow our podcast or watch us are new leaders, right? You're either aspiring leaders or new leaders in your roles. And I know for me, when I was newly in leadership, I struggled a lot with this empathy piece because I am very much, structured and organized, and the rules are the rules, right?
Right.
And so sometimes I was a little too black and white, a little too by the book, and it negatively impacted my relationship with my direct reports. But over time, as I became more seasoned and started to see the impact and see how when I did certain things, how maybe I could have handled it a little differently, or maybe I could have had a little bit more,
Yeah.
extended a little bit more grace, that allowed me to grow and develop as a leader. And so having that empathy is going to be really crucial. And then, of course, last week we were talking about some decision-making confidence. It's important for you to be able to make swift, informed decisions, right?
I
When
like
you
that.
do that, when you're able to do that, that helps you to demonstrate your competence as a
Mhm.
leader, right? Because your team can see that you're able to quickly assess information, you're able to quickly weigh the options and then take aligned action based on the information that you
That's
have. And
it.
so those are these are the 5 qualities I think that are going to be essential for you to have kind of to build that foundation of being a confident leader and role model for your team members.
I like that a lot. And, especially if you're wanting to set the tone and set the environment to replicate what you feel to be, what you are resonating or what you're projecting out, how do you empower your team in a way to where they are able to receive it, right? As a lead with leadership of confidence, and you're wanting to project how to motivate your team in doing so. What ways can you do it? I'm glad you all are asking. Regular and constructive feedback. How often do you meet up with your team? How often
Mhm.
are you engaging and getting their insight, getting their inputs, and making them feel that they are part of the number, they are part of the squad or the fold? And oftentimes, I love the fact, I love that the team meetings, as working when I used to work as a consultant for a very great private firm. I love the fact that we brought in practical ways of engaging and even adding our personalities in it when it comes to team building assignments. Like, what is it that you all like to do for fun? We would have what we call a um, it's called happy hour, where we were doing virtuals around COVID time as well, where we got to be able to really get to know each other.
Yeah.
And I had a gentleman who was part of it, and what he did for a hobby was he brewed beer from scratch. And we thought about it, I was like, really? How? So he would go through, he studied, and he would be part of a club with others who brew beer, and they would have tasters, and like how you have wine tasting, they would have brew tasting of beer, and gone through all kinds of studies and research. And it was just fascinating to know certain things of people that I would never think that he would be a brew maker. And so just knowing the other side of another person, imagine in your world, wouldn't it be worth it to you? You might say, well, Ruth, I just want to come to work. But let's be honest, according to research, if you tend to kind of let your guard down, you get to know each other on a personal level. What is it that they may like? What makes them tick? Or what is it that they may to be true that they find that they didn't know about you, but now that they know some more about you, then they tend to maybe got that distasteful way of thinking of you as being maybe micromanaged. Or now that you talk about certain things that you've done, you came from a militant background, and you traveled and did multiple stays in different environments, and it kind of replicated in your habits. So now they're able to embrace the fact that, oh, she's just not a mean person, or he or she, they can embrace the fact of your upbringing. Let us know in the comments, is this resonating with you? Do you find out now that where you're able to take your leadership confidence, and in what ways you can help motivate by doing what I just shared with you in terms of encouraging this type of functional attitude? I thought that was definitely beneficial. Another way is having an open and transparent communication. Oftentimes, we tend to feel like we're walking on eggshells. And we want to be able to foster an environment of open and transparent communication. You want to be able to ensure that your team members have access to not just you, but also information about the team's goals and progress and any changes within the organization. Because you and I know, to be true, do we like surprises? Yes, but we don't like surprises if it's going to impact our performance, if it's going to maybe impact on how we maybe get paid at the end of the year, if we are not upfront with what our expectations are, what are the goals, how often do we get to meet? And we want to hold regular meetings. Let us know in the comments is how often do you find yourself maybe having to drop the ball on this? How often are you meeting with your team? What are their progress? Do you discuss their progress periodically throughout the year, not wait till the end of the year when it's time for a merit increase or any kind of future plans? Do you discuss them and incorporate it on a frequently basis? And also keep team members informed. Keep them informed about bigger pictures, bigger goals, and strategies that may help them and get more impactful in their current role. Get them to be more inspired. Like Tracetta said, if they're maybe inspiring to be a leader, if they see you implementing great potential, what I call benefits as a leader, they're going to want to be inspired and say, I want to be like, because you ever saw your children when they say, I want to be like you, mom, I want to be like your dad, because you radiate the qualities of what they see that role model to be true is when it fits maybe a leader in management, when it comes around accounting or finances, you may incorporate that as part of your house upbringing on how to manage. Or maybe perhaps you're the type where you were nursing and you maybe bring up the upbringing on making sure that they're taking certain vitamins and nutrients that's going to help them keep their immune strong. And so they found that to be a great attribute of wanting to become that leader of choice within their environment and want to be that inspired leader as well. What else? What else can help them create more of a team and organic motivational way of creating team members to inspire them to do well with leaders of confidence?
Yeah, one of the things that I did at my last job where I was leading a team was I regularly gave them positive reinforcement as well as recognition. So I would do things to publicly praise them, right?
I like
whether,
that.
whether it was in like a department meeting, we ran a summer camp, and at the end of each week of the summer camp, we did 3 different sessions. At the end of each session, we would have this big banquet. And so I would always publicly recognize all of the team members who had a role in creating a successful camp for our students. So, praise goes a long way. Something else that I would do is I would take them to lunch just randomly. Just, there was no rhyme or reason to it. I would just one day be like, okay, this Friday we're going to get sushi because they like sushi. So, I'm treating you all to lunch, and then we would close down the office, if you will. Not really, but my team, and I would take them out for sushi, and we would just kind of eat and fellowship, not talk work, just kind of fellowship together, right? And left to work and then came back. I would also, if one of them was, if I had a team member that was working really hard on something and putting in some extra effort and time, I would say, hey, why don't you take tomorrow off? Or why don't you take the afternoon off? Don't put it on your time card as leave. Just go take the time off. You deserve it. Right. So
I love that. That's awesome. Because we live in a day and time, a lot of people are leaving their work environment, especially when you work with your clients, when it comes to productivity, and they find themselves to be not getting that recognition, not being rewarded, and not being able to be in an environment. So I love the fact that you're sharing. You say it so well. You make it seem like you may need to go back in leadership and run a team and collaborate with a team, because they're like, where's that team at? Because a lot of people are not seeing that. Many high performers.
But I didn't start that way, right?
Okay.
Right. I shared with you a story from the early part of my career, and where I end, quote unquote, my career's not over. I just transitioned into a different space. But that particular segment of managing a team, I ended in a much different space than where I began 20 plus years
That's
prior,
good.
right? So
Yeah.
there's a progression that you make. Yeah.
Yeah. 1000%. I love it. I love it. Now you see how we just started off and sharing with you all what ways you can maybe applaud yourself in envisioning how you want to convey these confidence through your leadership drive, and also what actions and what ways you can be able to drive it through your team can definitely be something you can apply now. Even though you may feel, Ruth, I haven't been applying it, start practicing. So let's talk about what ways can you delegate tasks with confidence and clarity? Because sometimes when you're wanting to create an environment of having a confidence of leadership, you don't want it to where you find yourself just being task driven. Like, where is the human part of you? Where is the collaborator part of you? Where I want to go ahead and trust my team to start peeling items off my plate, not just so much more to where it makes me easeful, but it makes me more approachable. It makes me now be more intentional on equipping them for becoming that aspiring leader, if that's what they're looking for. And they're now being put in a position of a apprentice, or where now they're getting to put their evidence or their practice in a limelight, if you will. So let's talk about how can you effectively delegate and also help create these crucial skills for leaderships and also in managers as well. So there's 6 steps to ensure that successful in delegation. Let me know if you all are having this to be a challenge, and you may want to write this down, and you even may want to go back and hit replay. Because number one, you want to be able to define the task. I don't know if you're huge on project planning tools. There's monday.com, there's Asana, there's even Microsoft, just traditional way you can create a spreadsheet and start creating what exactly are those tasks and define them. Be crystal clear on what tasks you want to be able. I always say this: what tasks may be revenue driven task, and if you know to be true that person is skilled to, for example, if you're maybe in the sales arena or marketing and their skill is really defined in that area, you want to define the task. And I would also say define the skill that aligns with that task. So that way you're setting them up for success and be able to also set the business or the organization as well for success as well. Select the right person. Although I hear select the right person, I would maybe shift that to selecting the right skill. Selecting the skill that maybe help, like I said before, defining that task and also help drive some of those short-term and long-term goals. And what else? What else we can add? As far as 6 steps to successful delegation.
Yeah. I do want to go back and say that it is important. Yes, you need to identify the skill, but you also need to make sure that the person that you select to do the task, that you delegate the task to, has the skill to actually complete the task. Right. So you don't want to give, for example, going back to my last role, we had an employee who was not good with Excel at all. That was not her thing. And she wanted to take on a particular task, which her direct supervisor allowed her to, but then it ended up taking her forever to do it. And then it was done incorrectly. And we had to then turn around and pass that task on to someone else who was more versed in Excel. And so when you've got, that's why this is so important for you to build that rapport, to have the empathy and build the rapport with your team so that you are clear on who has what skill sets so you can play into their strengths, right? And so when you're doing that, once you've got the right person for the task, you've got to be very clear in what your instructions are.
Yes.
I would say one of the things that I like to do is kind of like outline step by step. If it's something that you're delegating for the first time, and you can walk them through, show them step by step how to do the task. And then, it's teach one, like show one, teach one, do one, right? So give them an opportunity to like show them and then talk through it, and then allow them to do one themselves. And that helps them to really kind of get clear in what it is that you're actually asking them to do. And then also empower them to do the task. Don't micromanage. Turn it over to them. Give them the authority and the responsibility and the accountability for the task at hand rather than lording over them about it, but be there as a support. Don't just like throw it to them and then like, okay, you're on your own. You want to be
That's
able to
so
provide
good.
some support for them as well. So that's step number 4. So define the task,
Yeah.
select the right person, provide those clear instructions, empower and support. And then number 5, do you want to do number 5?
I love how you said it. You set the stage so well, because when it comes to delegation, some people may look at this as being micromanaged. Like, why am I being, without giving the proper instructions and guidance? I love how you're giving it a roadmap, some sort of elevation as to why do these even matter and what's the benefits behind it. And now that you have the task and you have the right skills and you're now projecting these instructions, how are you measuring it? How are you monitoring whether if it's working or if it's not working, or do we need to go back and fine tune it and maybe revisit certain skills that we've put aside, or the people that we assign towards those, that are we helping them or educating them? And so monitoring, again, it could very well be putting the proper tools in place. For example, it could be a scorecard, giving them the ways to kind of be self-evaluating on what they're doing. I remember a time where we had our own scorecards, and my leaders will allow us to score ourselves from 1 to 10. And whether it be in team building or individual personal growth, if you had a certain task, how would you, they basically want you to grade yourself before you even do your annual merit. This is not the one I'm talking about. This would
Yeah.
be more on a shorter goal, where if it's maybe once a month, you're now reflecting on what you've done for that month, and then you're going back and giving yourself a grade. It's not necessarily a grade, but giving yourself what areas can you improve on. It's more like a KPI. So basically, what areas that you're looking to improve on when it comes to your areas of progress, and then really self-reflecting and self-identifying what ways can you maybe want to go back and maybe take a soft skill or a technical skill. Like Trisetta said, if one was not really great with Excel, how was the team or the leader maybe helping them get better at performing in that area of deficit? That's where I love the fact of the scorecard, of measuring, keeping yourself up, would be that. And then finally, evaluate and provide feedback. So as you have these scorecards, if that's something that you may have in your environment, or any sort of KPI, what feedback are you giving? If someone was to give themselves a score less than 6 or 5 in each category, how are you then providing genuine feedback or constructive feedback to say maybe you would need to maybe offer some suggestions on some sort of learning program that they may want to take advantage of if your company does give some sort of talent development, or any kind of areas to help sharpen your leaders or your team members, to making sure that they see that it matters to you and to them, that you're reinforcing what ways they can definitely get better at. Let us know if this is helpful. And this is definitely creating ways to help create a successful delegation process or tool that you want to incorporate, or you want to start encouraging in your actual environment. And let's go ahead and bring it back. Let's drive this home, because I know we kind of went through quite a bit. Like I said, go back. You may want to even go back and hit replay. I'm huge on audio, and definitely just take it in and talk about how we kind of walk through step by step on the confident leadership, what ways you can empower your team, because you want to be able to champion a team of successors, because what you reflect on your team does reflect to your leaders. It reflects on the results and the outcomes of the profit and the revenue, and most importantly, employer of choice. And we talked about what ways can you not only building confidence as a leader and creating that role model, it's sort of environment you want to empower. How are you motivating your team members? Do you want your team to then showcase that I want to go ahead and start creating a referral? It matters to you, because that's the least of your actual bottom line. If your team can be your walking billboard when it comes to advertising certain opportunities that you may have open and readily available, if they're happy and they're content, they're getting rewarded, and you're conveying your confidence onto them, why wouldn't they not want to, share that into the marketplace? Like, hey, our team is hiring, or I know some of our areas in our department when it comes to marketing or sales. And you see how when you show up as the highest and best version of yourself, it will then start to radiate as well within your team. Let us know that our session together in Breaking Boundaries has definitely given you the permission and grace to go ahead and accelerate and doing the same thing as well. So I'm excited to hear you all, and we'll join you all in the comments and let us know, like, you know what, Trisetta and Ruth, you all are onto something. We definitely want to show up as leaders, even while we're going through this new month. Let's go ahead and put it in the right direction. Let's go ahead and start eradicating what else that we want to go ahead and conclude. Did I leave anything else out, or do you have anything else you want to conclude in? Well,
nope, good.
Okay, awesome. Well, everyone, thank you all for chiming in. Continue to follow us, continue to join and share this broadcast. And like I said, go back and hear replay. And until next time, continue to breaking boundaries, continue to stepping it forward as a leader. Bye for now.
Join and subscribe with career strategist Ruth McCracken and business strategist Trisetta Washington to the Breaking Boundaries podcast each week. You too can experience the limitless potential of rewriting rules and creating an extraordinary future for yourself.